Council, City of Port Allen, Louisiana, days Wednesday, April the 14th at 5:40 p.m. Please be advised that due to the public health emergency caused by the COVID-19 virus, the following requirements will be enforced at the City Council meetings. Anyone entering the building must wear a mask. Entry into the council chambers will be limited to 75% of maximum capacity designated seats. Each person must decide before entering the chamber which agenda item they wish to comment on. If they are not seated in the chamber, when the agenda item is heard, they will be notified by an officer to enter the council chamber to address that agenda item. Agenda, call to order. Please silence all electronic devices. And agenda item 1, stand for the pledge. Douglas Cliff, you want to read the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agenda item number 2, roll call.
Mr. Hubble?
Here.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Lacy?
Here.
Mr. Riviere?
Here.
Mrs. Gordon?
Here.
Quorum present. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Agenda item 3, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of March 10th, 2021.
I move.
Got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Gordon. Any objections? Hearing none. Agenda item 4, approval of the minutes of a special meeting on March 29th, 2021.
I move.
Motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Lacy. Any objections? Hearing none. You got an amendment?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to hear from Mr. Jim Ryan with the rebonding of the city hall.
Second.
We need a roll call vote and unanimous council approval. Consent is needed for approval of the motion.
Okay, I got a motion by Councilman Hubble, second by Councilman Brown. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna label this as agenda item 5A, and we'll bring it up right after this next agenda item, this one item. Agenda item 5, public comments. Comments from the public are allowed in accordance with the Louisiana Revised Statute 42:11, Section 2 through 34, and specifically limited to an agenda item to be considered during the meeting. 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic. All right, agenda item 5A. Consider a resolution to authorize the City of Port Allen to enter into a contract concerning refunding bonds.
Yes, sir. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Port Allen to issue not to exceed $1.8 million. I'm sorry, $1,850,000 of revenue refunding bonds for the purpose of refunding your existing bonds on the City Hall. Right now, you're paying at about 4.09% on the bonds that were financed, used to finance the new City Hall building. We did those bonds for the mayor when Lynn Robertson was here. Then we refunded them again, or refinanced them under Mayor Lewis, and we can refinance them again, and we think we can lower the interest rate to around 1.76%. So going from 4.09 to 1.76%, we think we can save you about $113,000 in interest. If we can't meet the State Bond Commission thresholds of savings, we can't do the deal and nobody gets paid anything. Those savings numbers that I mentioned are all after all fees and costs and expenses are paid. So that's net to the city. There's literally no risk to you all. If we can't save you the money, you don't pay anybody anything. And like I said, we did the original bonds and we refinanced them once under Mayor Lewis, and you've got a good opportunity here because rates are so low to get a better interest rate on your loan.
That's a no-brainer.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor by Councilman Riviere.
Second.
I got a second by Councilman Hubble. Any objections? Hearing none.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy? Yes. Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Agenda item 6, consider participating in the Go Jobs program.
Council members, we have Ms. Delbar here. Ms. Delbar, you might want to step to the mic. I think you know that I mentioned it last week about the Go Jobs program. Hire people and train them for 6 months within the city, and it does not cost us anything to do. And this, of course, is a unique opportunity for us, provided by Workforce Development. I think we talked about it a little bit last week, and I just asked Ms. Delbar to come here if y'all had any questions, and we would like to get permission to move forward with the project.
Would you like me to say a few words about it? Okay. My name is Lana Dalbar, and I am with Go Jobs, Local Workforce Area 20. And we are a federal program, and we operate under a grant called Workforce Innovative Opportunity Act. It's umbrellaed under Louisiana Workforce Commission. And my office is in Plaquemine, and my office is responsible for both Naperville and West Baton Rouge parishes. We have training programs and services that we offer to individuals to help them become self-sufficient. And by that, we offer scholarships in the amount of $20,000 up to 2 years. And we also offer job training programs. The one that is the newest one of our programs that just have been added is called Transitional Jobs Program. It is an awesome program that is offered to public agencies where you put someone to work who has little or no work experience, who has barriers to employment, maybe chronic unemployment, and we reimburse you for 1,040 hours, their 100% of their wage. You may ask at the end of the training program, do I have to hire them? You're under no obligation to hire these individuals. Our goal is to make sure that they get a skill set so that they can develop a resume and we can help them become successfully employed. We've been in business for 36 years, and we've been very productive with our programs. And if any of you are interested in visiting our center, we have a beautiful center in Plaquemine. I would encourage each one of you to do that. We are closed to the public right now. We have been, but we are, due to COVID, but we are operating virtually and by phone. But I'm soon to guess that we're going to be opening very soon. This program is very easy to operate, and I have several programs with different mayors already in operation, and it's working beautifully. So, anybody have any questions? I would prefer to not say because I don't have a bunch of funding to offer every mayor. So I have to be very selective, so I would prefer not to say. However, these individuals that you want to hire must go through an application process, and they must meet our eligibility requirements. And that's too lengthy to sit here and explain, but there are many opportunities for them to become eligible. And it has to be for individuals who have never worked for the city of Port Allen before.
Well, I just have a comment. I have been involved with the local schools here in the past few years, and one of the kids that I actually was dealing with actually came through you guys and got a CDL, and he's been driving ever since. So I'm somewhat familiar with the program, and I think it'd be a good idea to get him on board.
I'm going to just mention while I have the microphone for a few minutes, we have a lot of money to spend by June 30th. So if you know anybody from this parish that is interested in furthering their education, that is in a demand occupation for Louisiana, for example, CDL, P-Tech, anything in the medical field, well, anything that is 2 years or less and in demand, please send them our way. We could possibly offer them a scholarship in the amount of up to $20,000.
So is the program geared like more towards the high school?
No, ma'am. It's for 18 and older.
And you say the eligibility requirements you don't have today. Well, it's too lengthy to explain.
It's too lengthy. It's really is too lengthy. We have adult funds.
Okay.
We have adult funds, we have dislocated worker funds, and we have youth funds. And each one of those funds have a list of criteria that we use. So I would just say if you have anybody, send them our way. Let us determine. We want to try to get as many as eligible. So we serve a lot of people from this parish. I have to say, when we're open to the public, we serve probably 600 to 800 people that come to our office on a monthly basis. A lot of people think we're the unemployment office, but we are not.
So it's
We're
similar
workforce
to
development.
The JTPA program.
I'm sorry?
It's similar to like the JTPA program.
We are the old JTPA program, yes, ma'am.
I was part of that.
Yes, ma'am. We have a lot of success stories.
Yeah, nothing else, I move.
I got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Gordon. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Agenda item 7, consider Mayor Lee's recommendation to hire Brianna Jones for the position of Assistant Chief Financial Officer of grade step 120A. And Councilman, we had spoken in reference to Ms. Jones. She was one of the 3 applicants that applied for the assistant CFO job. She's here, and y'all requested her to attend the meeting. Ms. Jones, can you come forward? And I think, can you tell the council?
Good afternoon.
Can you tell the council a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I can just give a quick introduction. My family is from Port Allen. We've been in this community for over, and I've lived on the west side for the majority of my life. I graduated from Southern University in finance with a minor in accounting. I'm currently enrolled in the analytics master's program at LSU. My most recent role was a compliance examiner for the Office of Financial Institutions. This role focuses on conducting examinations of financial service providers in Louisiana. I determined compliance with state and federal laws and completed safety and soundness exams. Before I worked in financial compliance, I was an accountant for a small accounting firm in New Orleans, and I interned at the Department of Public Works Business Operations. Been a licensed real estate agent for 4 years in Louisiana.
Ms. Jones, I actually tried to find you on social media so I could speak with you before. I guess last month, a couple of months ago, the position was created. I didn't see the need for it. Believe me, all these comments made is nothing personal because I don't even know you. My thought, my thoughts were then, they still are. I don't think this position is necessary. And I really appreciate your qualifications, but when it comes time to vote, I just want to put public record as to why I will vote no.
Okay.
Believe me, nothing personal. I don't see the need for this position in our small municipalities. And I hate to bring that up in such a setting. I really wanted to talk to you before all of this.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Anybody else?
I'm just going to echo what Mr. Riviere said, and like I said, I'm not going to drag this out. It's nothing personal. Everything, I think, all your attributes are fine. I'm like him. I never agreed that this position should be created, so I'm going to have to vote in the negative also.
Well, in response to that, this position has already been created. And it seems like you're equipped to deal with large budgets. that is a very important job position here in the city of Port Allen. And I just want to be sure that you are equipped to deal in the job. And speaking with the mayor, the job descriptions, you believe that you are the perfect one for this job. And could you please expound on it?
Okay, well, I am a fast learner. I have worked in several different sectors, private and public, and I have adjusted and completed exceptional work. I am also furthering my knowledge with the analytics master's program so that I can increase my efficiency and also implement data-driven methods to solve problems and increase revenue. So hopefully I can bring more to this position and change you guys' minds about it being a very important position for the city of Port Allen.
All right.
Well, the mayor selected you, and I think last week he explained to us why he selected you. And this is definitely part of the mayor's day-to-day operations in this area. So I'm gonna go with his lead on this.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And now I have to give the podium to Doug Smith.
I just want to briefly address, I submitted a public records request process for this position, and I've looked over it a few times, and I specifically requested any correspondences having to do with the creation, advertisement, or hiring for this job. And the city has given me zero emails, 0 letters, 0 old-fashioned correspondence, and I just find it hard to believe that in 2021 we can create a position from whole cloth, pay the West Side Journal and the Advocate to advertise it, interview people, and generate 0 emails. And you can't tell me that that's above board. And that causes for pause. For me, I don't think that's, on the up and up. I'd like the executive branch to go on record tonight and whether or not there are, in fact, 0 emails generated from the creation, advertisement, and hiring of this position or not. And that's all I say. I can't judge if this position is truly needed because, I didn't get everything I requested in my public records request. I did have the opportunity to review Ms. Jones's credentials, and she certainly seems qualified. And I can see the writing on the wall, and I look forward to welcoming her on board. But I would certainly like to know on the record, is that public records response complete and there are 0 emails or any other correspondence related to the creation, advertisement, and hiring of this position? Thank you.
Doug, when did you request that?
I believe I sent my request in, I believe it was March 11th.
And we have responded, and Mr. Smith, my understanding is we have given everything that we have. We are going back one last time to circle back, make sure there are no communications or letters or emails, but nobody is aware of any at this time. So we believe the response is complete, but we are going back and do one more check.
All right.
Don't
Well,
anticipate anything that will come up.
what about from the actual executive branch? Is it the position of the executive branch of the city of Port Allen that we created, advertised, and hired this position without generating a single email?
We have produced everything that has been made available, and that can be located.
So if there are 0 emails in that production from the city, then there are 0 emails.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, that young lady sounds very skilled to take on as the financial person.
State your name first for the record.
To work with Audrey.
No, state your name for the record.
Pardon me?
State your name for the record.
I'm sorry, I'm Teresa Rizzuta.
Okay.
I just wonder why we're spending more money for that instead of holding on to some money to take care of the water treatment plant. We're spending money that we don't really need to use right now for that.
Well, Ms. Razula, Mr. Smith made a good point, and he made the statement that he hadn't got the documents yet. Well, that is one of the reasons why he hadn't got the documents. We've been having multiple public records requests. I don't have the staff. And it's a time-consuming operation. She would be a good access to the city and alleviating that problem.
She did. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that I was wishing that we could spend the money a little where we need it.
Yes, ma'am. And we're in the process of trying to solve that situation. If there's no other questions, I entertain the motion.
I move.
I got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Any objections? Hear none?
Mr. Hubble?
No.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
No.
Mrs. Gordon? Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 8, consider authorizing the renewal of the city's waste disposal contract with Republic Services. Let's call her Swacker.
I swear this is the last time y'all are going to see me. I swear. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate all the kind thoughts y'all had for me where I retired. And here I am again. I am working as a consultant with the company now, but to help them out as we go through some of these transitions. And one of them is Mr. Steve Smith, who is going to be the municipal services manager. He started in January. He's hit the ground running. He's become very familiar with Port Allen, and I think he's going to do a really good job. And so I would appreciate that you all work with him as openly and in such a professional manner that we've had in the past. If you would work the same way with him, that would be an honor. Having said that, the issue at hand is that we entered into a contract for garbage service provision in the city of Port Allen. That contract was set up to be a 5-year contract with a 5-year renewal potential. At the time that we set it up, there were several things that the administration outlined to us that they felt was very important. We upgraded the recycling program so that it went into carts instead of bins, and as a result, we got a 36% increase in recycling in the city. We instituted compressed natural gas trucks in Port Allen, and as a result, the pollution is reduced in the city, which is really important in a city like Port Allen. Those improvements, I think, have worn well over the last 5 years. I think the citizens are very happy and accepting of it. We're here to ask you tonight to vote on a 5-year extension for this contract, which will take us to 2026, yes. And maybe I'll be back then, who knows, in 2026. But if you have any questions, be glad to try and field those.
Carla, when you mentioned was it a 36% increase in recycling, or was it 36% now?
The volume, the tonnage that we get out of the city, which is really important, because if you think about recycling and what has happened in the last few years, newspapers are hardly the size that they were. People don't get the junk mail. We do get more cardboard boxes. The plastics that we pick up have been reduced 50% in weight. As you know, when you get your water bottle, it's so flimsy. So, our game is, in recycling, is a tonnage game. And so for the tonnage to go up is a great thing.
Do you remember, and I'm just curious, when you took over in 2016, where we were as far as a percentage on recycling? Do you remember what the number was?
For the tonnage or for the participation?
Participation.
Oh gosh, no, I don't have that with me.
Okay. I'm just curious. But you have seen them.
Yeah. Well, I would expect that there is more participation because we're getting more tonnage, but also carts are so much more convenient than bringing the bins out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like cleanup.
Questions?
Steve, you think she's gonna really retire?
He's counting on it. Anything else?
Good seeing you, Carl.
Good seeing you too. We would appreciate a vote on, a positive vote on this request.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to reissue the contract.
I got a motion by Councilman Hubble, second by Councilwoman Gordon. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon? Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all very much, very much. We appreciate it. On behalf of your team that works here in Port Allen and your supervisor, Elsie, they will be thrilled tomorrow morning to hear this. Okay.
Thank you.
I like the day she comes.
All right, agenda item 9, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to sign the substantial completion order for the Phase 9 road project. Mr. Erico.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Excuse me, I'm going to take that mask off. We brought this up in the committee meeting, and obviously this is a formal vote. This happens to be the Phase 9 road job, and essentially this is kind of wrapping it up, if you will. The first item that I guess needs to be voted on is the certificate of substantial completion, and essentially what that does is that authorizes the end date and the contractor to file his clear lien certificate, and that begins the warranty period. After 45 days, if he provides us a clear lien certificate, then he gets his retainage. So we keep a small percentage of his contract just in case there's some cleanup items or something along those lines. They've done a pretty good job. Their punch list is fairly minor, so I do recommend that we award the substantial completion to R.J. Daigle and Sons.
Second. Okay, got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Brown. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 10, consider authorizing Mayor Lee to sign the change order for the Phase 9 road project. Mr. Erico?
And essentially, this is another kind of cleanup. You had a unit price contract in the amount of basically $310,491.70. At the end of the contract, we came in at $307,623.04. So it's a decrease in the overall contract of $2,868.66. So that's what you're approving, basically. So the math works out. So we came in under budget. And so I would obviously recommend that as well.
I move.
Second.
Okay, got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Lacy. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That's it.
Can I do the, y'all, this was, I guess it should have been tied in with the final adjustment change order, but we haven't paid the contractor yet, so we really need to probably pay him. They just have one pay request. It's in the amount of $292,241.89. And what that represents is everything but the 5% retainage. We will be holding that $15,381.15 until he gives us a clear lien certificate. So I would recommend that we authorize payment of the $292,241.89 to R.J. Daigle on this contract.
Second.
How much is it?
$292,241.89.
Who made the first
Riviere?
one? Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Riviere and second by Councilman Hubble. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Tom.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 11, consider a request to enter into executive session pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 42:17A1 to discuss Chief Hicks' recommendation for termination of a police officer's employment with the city. Second.
Council, before we get into that, as per the agenda item, Chief Hicks has made a pending recommendation to terminate one of the city's police officers. We have that set up to go into executive session. Those notifications went out in the last couple of days. Today we did receive a letter from Attorney Victor Woods, which I provided a copy of you, asking that the council delay action on this matter, and Mr. Woods is here, so we'll let him address the council on the procedural side of it, and then the council can make a determination on whether to proceed tonight or delay this matter to a another day.
Thank you. Mayor Lee, members of the council, Port Allen, and Chief. My name is Victor Woods. I'm here for Nolan Dehan, who's the officer who has been identified for termination. I did request that this matter be continued for a very short time in order that I may be able to properly advise Mr. Dehan regarding this particular matter. I understand that the city wants to move expeditiously on this matter and that they have set it for a hearing today. However, just for the record, he was notified on April 12th. He contacted me immediately on April 13th, and we're here on April 14th. In fairness to him, to have an opportunity that he take full right to have counsel, I'm asking for a short delay. In compromise, Mr. Dehan has advised me that he will accept paid leave off, that his leave will be without pay in order for this matter to be reset. So there will be no cost to the city. It would allow him to be fully advised regarding this matter, and I'm not asking for a long delay. As a result of that, that's the basis of my request. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
2 weeks?
2 weeks would be fine.
Mayor, would you want to?
3 weeks would be the committee meeting where you would all be present anyway.
And that's fine.
Get a special meeting afterwards?
We could have a special meeting after.
What would that
And from the legal standpoint, counsel, I don't have any objection to the request since the officer would be on leave without pay, so it would not be costing the city any money while we're waiting for Mr. Woods to get up to speed.
So that'd be May 5th.
Correct.
Council will hold a special meeting after.
That's correct.
He needs to have the right to consult his attorney. He didn't have enough time for it, so I think we should extend.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, let's do a motion to table this item until the special meeting on the condition that Officer Duhan has agreed to go on until the matter is resolved by the council.
And this will be after the committee meeting?
We could either do a special meeting before the committee meeting, or we could go right into a special meeting after the conclusion of the committee.
But you're doing it on May 5th?
Right.
It would be on the night of the committee meeting, since the council would all be gathered on that night anyway.
Okay.
All right, I got a motion by Councilwoman Gordon, second by Councilman Riviere. Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yeah.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your courtesies.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Woods.
Council, that moves agenda item 12.
All right, we're going to go to agenda item 13. Consider a request to enter into executive session pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 42:17A1 to discuss an officer's appeal of Chief Hicks' recommendation for reassignment of the police officer as part of the department's reorganization.
Motion.
Well, again, council, this is another motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter that's based upon a recommendation by Chief Hicks. The employee was notified on February 26th as to the recommendation that Chief Hicks was making. The employee did request an appeal of that action, and we do have council present. Would you like to have that in executive session, or would you like that to be in public? The employee does have the right to have that matter heard in public.
We're going to have an executive session.
Okay. So we can proceed with a vote to go into executive session. We need a 2/3 vote.
I'll move.
I got a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilwoman Lacy. Any objection? Hear none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Agenda item 14. Consider any action resulting from officers' appeal.
I move to come back from executive session.
Second.
My bad.
Okay, we want to,
Yeah, I move.
okay, got a motion from Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Hubble to come out of executive session. Any objection? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 14, consideration of any action resulting from a police officer appeal of Chief Hicks' recommendation for the reassignment of the police officer as part of the department's reorganization. I entertain a motion.
Anybody from the audience?
Yeah, the public.
You can go to the audience before any vote. So we need a motion to go by the other.
I'll make the motion to deny the officer's appeal.
I have a second.
Second.
Anyone from the audience want to be heard on this motion? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
No.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Dewey, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, I was going to make a comment that, based on the executive session, that I would ask that the chief's motion to departmentalize and to move her and to dock her pay be denied. So I was just going to speak against that motion, which I've already done, but I just want to put that on the record.
Okay, sir.
And just note my objection just for purposes of the council's ruling on this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Objection noted. Agenda item 15, consideration and action related to Chief Hicks' proposal of the police department, including any related promotions or reassignments.
For promotions, Mayor, Lead Council, I'm requesting, if it's granted, I would like at this time to ask Sergeant Casey Williams to be promoted to the rank of lieutenant with a pay grade of 116F. He will continue working in the capacity of the department captain until he has the requirements to be officially promoted to the rank of captain, which is 2 years at the rank of a lieutenant. He wasn't eligible for this promotion. Second, I'd like to promote Sergeant Freddie Christopher to lieutenant with pay grade of 116E. Sergeant Christopher has 16 years with the department and has been a supervisor for over 10 years. He has all the qualifications and years of service for this promotion. He serves as our school resource officer and has been given rave reviews by the school board. And last, I would like to promote Corporal Donovan Mitchell to the rank of sergeant with a pay grade of 114A. He has been employed with the City of Port Allen Police since August 19th of 2013 and was then promoted to corporal in May of 2016. He has worked as a shift supervisor under his current rank of corporal since September 20th, 2017. He has the required training and skills as defined in the Policy and Procedure Manual 1014D, required training and experience, 2 years of crime prevention work at the rank of a corporal, and he has the personality and skills needed to be a great sergeant. Thank you.
Council, as you're aware, unlike other city employees, city council itself has authority over hiring, firing, and demotion and promotion of police officer employees, which is why this item is being presented for review. So Chief Hicks has provided his plan as to how he proposes to reorganize the police department. But just to specifically call out the portions of this plan that require council approval would be the two promotions and the two reassignments, if you will. And as as Chief Hicks pointed out, that would be Sergeant Williams being promoted, Sergeant Christopher being promoted, and Corporal Mitchell being promoted as part of that plan. So if you vote to approve the plan overall, you are voting to approve both those three promotions and those two.
Could I get a pay rate for the reassignments?
Ms. Wisham will go from pay grade of 116C to pay grade of 113D. And Mr. Celestine, pay grade of 116B to pay grade of 113D. D.
I'll go ahead, if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve Chief Hicks' recommendation for his reorganization.
What, wait.
What did you say? Councilman, when we promoted to what?
Which one, Councilman? To Lieutenant.
Lieutenant. And Donovan to Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am.
Promote Donovan to Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am.
And other shift assignments as specified in the package. Those don't need council approval.
Now, according to the policies and the rankings, all of these people, these officers that's being promoted have went through the proper steps of assuming these positions.
Yeah, Sergeant Williams has been a sergeant for 5 years since 2015. Donovan, Corporal Mitchell, he was promoted to a corporal and stayed as a corporal till now. So he's been at a corporal position since May 3rd, 2016 till now. And Officer Christopher has been a sergeant forever.
Yeah, without question. So Sergeant Casey has 5 years.
Yes.
And to be a lieutenant is 5 years, correct?
Yes, as 2 years as a sergeant.
2 years as a sergeant, okay. So make sure we have all that right.
We just want to make sure we take the right procedure. Yes,
And I have Sergeant Williams here if y'all want to ask him any questions.
Well, Mayor, council members, y'all have any questions?
I have a comment. Thank you for your patience. I know it's been a good bit of turmoil the last 6 or 8 years. You know, and it's tough to build a strong police department when you have such turnover. The turnover that we had this past 6 years, I appreciate the work that you do for our city.
Thank you.
In fact, Casey, you was what were you? You was a sergeant before. What was your rank? Detective.
Yeah, detective.
Detective.
Yeah, I was detective for a year. No, it was a little over a year. Yeah, it was a little over a year.
Why don't you
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
us what type of training you have?
What type of training do I have? Detective school. The department's FTO.
Detective school and what else?
FTO.
Field training officer.
Yeah, field training officer.
And you going to school for the internal affairs?
Yes, ma'am. May 10th and the 11th.
Any other trainings, classes, any?
No, ma'am. I wasn't given an opportunity.
Now that you're able to get that opportunity, you willing to go get all these training?
Yes, ma'am. I'm willing to do anything that the chiefs asked me to do.
I'm going to say this. I commend you folks, police officers. We live in a day and an age when you're under a microscope, wanted or unwanted. And this world is full of Monday morning quarterbacks to say what could have been done better, but they're not in that position. I commend y'all for the job you do, your dedication. I know it's a job, I know you get paid, but you still. So I just want to thank y'all for what you do.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll entertain the motion.
I move.
That motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Riviere.
To get just a little clear, this is a motion to approve the reorganization with the encompassing promotions and demotions.
Correct. And Glover.
Correct.
Any objections? Hearing none?
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lacy?
No.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 16, consider Chief Hicks' recommendation to hire Bobby Hobson.
And let me say this, I'm in agreement with some of it, I just, I'll just say that. I feel like it should have been on at different items. I just don't feel like all of them should have been coupled together.
I mean, for all of them.
With the reorganization, yes.
You mean take one item at a time?
Yeah, like, I could agree.
And Ms. Lacy, the reason it was done that way is because, you had to present an overall org chart. And if you don't approve one, then somebody got to go back to that position, and somebody got to go back to that position. If it's possible for him to kind of do that in a meeting, it would probably take 12 meetings to accomplish all that. So that's the reason why it's done as one. But we certainly understand that concern.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure we have the right people in for these positions, and that they get. It's like not like just like a rush to put somebody into a position, and that they get the proper trainings that they need to make sure that they qualify for the they're good for the position. I said they're not qualified, just good for the positions. And I just don't feel like it's nothing we have to rush. But I do agree with some of your reorganization.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take that into consideration. Agenda item 16, consider Chief Hicks' recommendation to hire Bobby Hobson as a corporal at step grade 113A. Chief Hicks?
I came last week, present Mr. Bobby Hobson as a new hiree with my department. Mr. Hobson was with the department under Chief Brown's administration and left because of under the circumstances of the former administration. After I got elected, he reached out to me and about coming back, and I sat down and talked about it. Not talked about it, thought about it, and got with some of the other veteran officers in the department about his character and everything, and everybody seemed to like him. He goes out there, does his job. He's very knowledgeable of his job. He has a tremendous amount of law enforcement experience. I wish he wouldn't have left, but people got to do what they got to do. uncertain situations. So I appreciate him reaching out to me to have a second chance. I know he's going to do an outstanding job. I know he's.
Got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Hubble. Any objections?
Well, Chief Hicks, I've talked with people in the community, and they shared their opinions, and I listened to their concerns. And Mr. Hobson don't seem like he just was a good community officer. And I'm just going to take the community in consideration. It was a lot that I heard. So, I think I'm just going to move with the community.
All right, any other objections? Hear none?
Mr. Hope?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Lacy?
No.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Mrs. Gordon?
No.
Motion denied. Agenda item 17. Consider Chief Hicks' recommendation to hire Kenneth Parker as an officer at step grade 112A. Chief Hicks?
Same. Last Wednesday, I came in front of y'all for the approval for hiring Mr. Kenneth Parker. I was the supervisor at West Baton Rouge Detention Center. He served as a road officer, EBR, came over here. Like another one, he reached out to me, really good person, good personality with him. And like I said, I think he won't disappoint me neither.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Riviere, second by Councilman Hubble. Any objections? Hear none?
I'm willing to give you a chance to work within our community.
Thank you.
We need community officers, people who are willing to get to know the community, like I think that Charlene said this before, and not just get out there and just push the fact that you have a badge around.
Yes, ma'am.
And I didn't hear it. I mean, I didn't get anything besides great reviews.
Thank you.
There's no any other objections? Hear none?
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Lacy?
Yes.
Mr. Riviere?
Yes.
Ms. Gordon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations, Mr. Parker.
Thank you, Chief.
Agenda item 18, considerations and actions related to the condition of the property located at 734 Avenue G.
Well, I think during the last committee meetings, we indicated that we were looking to the council for some indication on the status of a review on the property located at 734 Avenue G. That was discussed last meeting. A significant amount of work was done. So we were looking for an indication from the council whether they consider the remediation complete or it's to the city standard or not.
My thoughts on 734 Avenue G, and it's easy enough. We don't need to stay in litigation or anything, but to me, we should view it as an ongoing, keep an eye on it. I don't think at this point we're ready to take it back to court, but at the same time, I don't want to be revisiting this thing 2 or 3 months.
I guess specifically what are we looking for is the council want to go into the property and course, we will continue to monitor it, and, you know, if it starts getting bad again, then, you know, future legal action will be taken.
Are they continuing to make progress on the property?
I'll defer to the mayor on that one.
No, I don't have any knowledge. It's been a rainy week, so.
Last time I drove down the last meeting, and we like just trying to make progress.
Yeah, and you still have some things on the
But the
side.
idea is when they continue, once we back off, they might start right back at it again. So if they continue cleaning up now and we stop pressing them to clean up, they're gonna go right back to phase one, and the neighbors gonna be right back here fussing again, and we're gonna go back to the same channel again, over and over and over again. So I feel like whatever who we want, that's your district. I support you with it.
I appreciate it.
And I definitely help.
Has anybody signed up to speak on this? Mr. Smith?
Come tell us about it, good.
I'll keep it brief since we've been here for a little bit. Like you said, you know, I'm not going to wax poetic or anything. We're here to decide if it's acceptable. You know, what is the Port Allen standard? And I'll tell you, in a vacuum, you know, would this progress would be commendable? Yes. In reality, you know, this is an ongoing struggle for a long period of time. And today, you know, there is still stuff in the front yard. The front porch is starting to collapse, and it's wrapped in, you know, trash bags, bisqueen, and the whole driveway is full of stuff. Did she haul off a lot? Did she throw a lot away? Sure. Is there a good chunk of it at 718 Whitehead now, next to the abandoned truck? You know, it's really not doing anything just to shuffle it from G to Whitehead, or to let them off the hook. And that's how, you know, I don't think it's deserved, but I think it's in good faith on our part to not take any action tonight. Let them know that, you know, we see what you've done, but it's not good enough. We'll pick it up next month and see where we're at. Like I said, it's not deserved, but it's in good faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
So, Evan, on this action, because I'm like Charlene and Hootie, and I don't have a crystal ball like nobody up here has, but if we just say, yeah, it looks good, then that gets out, and it just reoccurs again, so we go through the song and dance again for whatever amount of time. So what would you do at this point to keep it like a monitoring ongoing, so to speak?
Your inspector would, of course, monitor it and closely monitor it, and, you know, once it starts getting bad again, then you know, we revisit action. We're going to look to see if there's something that we can file. I believe we do have authority to file an affidavit. File that affidavit stating that, you know, we've cleaned this property up. We're forced to clean up all the times now in the last several years. I think that triggers an alleviated process that you would have to go through next time. There's always going to be a process that you have to go through.
But it would be abbreviated?
But it could be an alleviated process, and we can definitely look more into that one. You know, again, you know, the main purpose of the agenda item tonight was just whether we were sending the troops onto the property, but full step away or not. And it seems like that we're not going to do that. So, you know, we'll look at now what is the next step. You know, we'll consider this round complete, and, you know, we'll start looking at what the future rounds now and prepare for that.
And I don't think it ought to be, and I'm just going back to like Lance Guidry's, when he gives us these forms and it says grass, case closed, blah, blah, blah. I don't think this is a case closed. I think, and I hope I'm wrong, I think it's going to continue, and I hope I'm wrong, but so let's don't put the hammer down on it and close it.
No,
that's just
it won't be ever probably closed, but, you know, it's just, there's going to be multiple battles in this ongoing time. Right. Looks like we're now done for our second one, and, you know, we'll see what we can do to set up to try to prevent a third one.
Well, I think the best thing to do is just keep monitoring And of course, Doug, I thank you and the rest of the community for staying on it. Like, that's very important. And it's important that we listen at the community, at the concerns, and you come in here and you address those concerns and we take action on it. That's what it's about. So I think we could still work and monitor and just continue to monitor this situation, because I don't think it's far from over, but we do have to stay on top of it.
Yeah, and once again, if the community or the neighbors across the street or in that area have a complaint, all we have to do is forward that complaint to my office or Mr. Joseph. And Mr. Gidger will be sent out there to handle that complaint. He will continue to monitor that location, take photos, and issue summonses if necessary. All right.
Well, the front yard is clean, right? I mean, it really is.
I would just say, like, as far as whether or not, they're in compliance with the ordinance, and whether, we close this chapter, they are not in compliance with the ordinance. They have not satisfied the notice of abatement, and we are not finished. What I said was, in good faith, we could give them another month, let them know. They can't even do us the courtesy of showing up here tonight. They can't show up for their appeal. Let them know you're not in compliance, but we'll give you more time in good faith. The whole side driveway is still full of stuff. They still have stuff in the yard. The porch is wrapped in bisqueen. The porch is collapsing. There's a garden hose coming out from the attic. This house is not in compliance. So, although, like I said, we'll give them grace. We don't need to vote to abate or send troops in, as Evan called it, but we're not done. We're not monitoring for the next one. I think we should just say, we appreciate it. We'll see you next month. Thank you.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Mr. Smith, she's still under the court order. So if she's not in compliance, I just need to report to Judge Kleinpeter, and she's going to start serving her time. Just that simple. So it's really what the community wants. So, and incarceration will be the only other option. And we hate to go that route, but that's what's going to be required. All right. If there's no other discussion, we'll go to agenda 19. Alcoholic beverage permits. All right, thank you. Agenda item 20, announcements and correspondence. I don't have any. I just want the chief to know that I understand the situation that he has and the fact that he's got some big shoes and positions to right candidates to fill those positions. And I hope that the council take heed, because at the end of the day, we're talking about officers to protect our city. And he's shorthanded at this particular time, and then he's going to need that additional help. So
I just want to thank the city council and Ms. Rose Roche for a job well done for the Hunter Champion Parade. It was really nice. It was a really nice turnout. The young ladies and the young men, they were so happy and excited that the community was out there to welcome them and to thank them and congratulate them. And I thank you all, my city councilman and Rose Roche again, for a wonderful job that you all did. But also, I was very upset about it when we came across to the east side, where there was no one there to welcome our kids. No one. And no one cannot say they did not know about the parade. It was all on social media. And everybody on social media. So don't tell me you're not. And if you're not somebody you know, then know that you know on social media. So somebody told you about the parade. And I didn't know we had a ghost town in Port Allen until we crossed the track. And I thought that was really a shame that no one on that side came out to congratulate the children that you think, you know, that was sad. Very sad. It's like no one lived on that side of the street. Nobody. It's just like it was a ghost town. But you love the kids. And you for the kids. You didn't do it for us. We did it for the children. They went out there and played basketball. They went out there and did powerlifting. That's what it was all about, the children. Not us. But you want to be one or out. Really. I tell you, we got a lot of work to do around here. And you can talk about me all you want, because I can stand my ground. But we have a lot of work to do. We can't come together for the children. And that's sad.
I agree. And I think I've given my sentiments on that. We have a big issue with communication. Everybody want to say advertisement. Hey, if it's an area that I would take responsibility for, I would. But I don't think advertising is a big issue. It's just put out too many places. West Side Journal does a good job. The water bills, social media. But what I do see, we have a big disconnect in communication. We have too many influential people that donated. For people to say, oh, we didn't know anything. So I take it that we have a problem with communication. We have to learn how to better communicate and talk about more the positive than the negative. Because if it was something bad, it would have spread around like wildflower.
It spread, it just didn't come. He was out there. He was out there. It just didn't
But I definitely thank everyone that came and supported and participated and sponsored and donated, and it was so many people. And I think Miss Rose, she did a good job with getting people to sponsor and donate. She read off a list of people in the council and even had more to add at the celebration. So, you know, overall, it still was a good day, and it was a very good day to celebrate and honor those young athletes for the work that they have done. And I do thank everyone in the council. We all showed up and showed out, and I appreciate it for sure.
Thank y'all. Anybody else? All right.
I was there at the event. You guys did a really good job. It was a good turnout. I enjoyed myself, and I thank you guys for doing such a good job by working together. I hope that we can continue to work together so that we can move forward, so that we can get away from the negativity. But everything was so good. The kids were excited. You guys, did an awesome job. And I saw Mayor Lee, he was out there. I saw everybody out there kind of working, moving around, kind of talking to everybody. But it was some people that wasn't there, but it went on. It was a good event. And I'm glad you guys took y'all time. You know, y'all could have been doing anything else with your family, anything else, but y'all took that time to go there and show love to someone else's kids. So that was just heartwarming to me. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Walls.
Thank you very much. You and the Port Allen Police Department, you know, it was very important for us to get across that LA1, the highway, and we thank you.
But I don't think there was no trouble in that day either, so that was very beneficial and grateful for that. It was a beautiful day. Glad everybody came out. It was a great event to be a part of.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody?
Children made history.
All right. Agenda item 21, adjourned.
I move.